we all expected this to be his last year. You know, it was pretty much a year ago. I think Bruns mentioned that it was December 1st. December 1st was when they made the announcement that you know, Tony White was getting a raise. Mm-hmm. And if you could probably find a podcast from us a year ago saying, yep, and next year will be his last year. The thing that changed is we also would have followed up by saying, because he'll be a head coach in 2025. Correct. And that's where we was wrong.
Correct. It's not that it happened, it's the how.
Yes.
Because this, you know, a head coaching position is a step up, even if it's not in a Power 5 situation. Let's say if it's a San Diego State or another Mountain West school or something like that. But if you're aspiring to be a head coach and you're currently a coordinator, in your vision, in your eyes, that is a step up. Mm-hmm. This move to go to Florida State is at best a lateral move. And I could make the argument it is possibly a step down if you look at the surface level. Now, there's other things about this, like, for example, the ability to control. My guess is that Mike Norvell is bringing somebody in to say, fix this.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do, Tony. Do what you need to do. That'd be my guess, given how bad Florida State was and given the situation that is at hand at FSU right now.
Yes.
So, but take that aside, push that off to the side for the moment. If you look at the plane of which where Nebraska is and where Florida State is, I'm not saying that Nebraska is far and away a better situation than Florida State, but in my opinion, it is a better situation.
Wow, that's crazy. Reasons. We very much disagree on this.
For several reasons. First reason is, at Florida State, there's a good chance if things don't get turned around dramatically in 2025 that everybody is gone. Right?
Could you say the same thing about? You could say the same thing about Nebraska.
Maybe. I think Norvell's seat is a lot hotter than Matt Rule's seat.
Though he's also 1 year removed from going 12-0 and 13-0, right? Like it's pretty crazy that the guy who went 13-0 last year is on a hotter seat than Matt Rule.
But think about the situation. Also at Nebraska, you're in the Big Ten. You might be the 12th best house, but you're still in the gated community. At Florida State, no. At Florida State, you are not in the gated community. They don't even know what conference they're going to be in.
Yeah.
They don't even know. They're trying to sue to get out of their conference. It is a tenuous situation right now at Florida State. Nebraska, from a structural standpoint and a financial standpoint, is on extremely solid ground.
But doesn't this, John, go back to what we
is not?
Doesn't this go back to what we talked about yesterday with Purdue, though? Like, Nebraska is a better program than Purdue, but Purdue has made a conference championship game more recently. Like, cool, you're in the gated community, but you have the worst house in the gated community.
Nebraska does not have the worst house in the gated community.
They have one of the worst houses in the gated community.
But you're still in the gated community, which is because right now the neighborhood that Florida State is in is threatened to be taken over by eminent domain because they want to build something else there.
Yeah, but they're way closer to the playoff. Like I'll disagree. I guess
no, they are not. Absolutely, what? They went 2-10 or 1-11. I don't even remember what the damn record was.
You don't think Florida State is closer to the playoff than Nebraska? No way.
I think you can't think that. Do I think they're that much closer? Not a lot closer. I don't even think that's the motivation right now.
What do you think you think the motivation is all the power and just not having?
Absolutely. Okay. I'm saying from a surface level. I'm not questioning why Tony White would leave. Because a lot of it, I think, does have to do with, hey, I'm going to be allowed to do what I need to do. And I won't have as many people, looking over my shoulder. I think that is a huge, and I also think they will pay him well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be better than Nebraska or not. But from
they get better players?
From the surface level, theoretically, yes. Theoretically, they could. But the NIL situation at Florida State How good is that right
well,
now?
I would say the same thing about Nebraska.
Know.
I don't think that Nebraska's is as good as a lot of people want it to be, or as much as some people believe that it is. I don't think that 1890 is the bee's knees in terms of being able to bring in guys.
Florida State?
Hell no, it's not. Hell no, it's not.
I don't know this. I don't have the answer to
Florida
this.
State has been building their program through the portal for years, and it didn't work well this season. But just because they had one bad year, like talk about overreacting to one bad season.
Hold on. First of all, you're acting like the portal's been around for 20 years. The portal's been around for 4 years.
Norvell's done a great job with building it over the last few years. This was the first time that it didn't work out for him.
Perhaps, but again, do we know? We also keep in mind that Matt Rule hasn't been as aggressive in the portal. He may decide to be aggressive in the portal. We don't know.
I hope.
We have no idea. So. We have no idea. But I don't. If anyone thinks this is a step up, at best this is a lateral move.
I think it's a step up for sure.
No,
I definitely think it's a step up.
No, Florida
They're
State
closer to the playoffs.
What conference are going to be in next year?
That doesn't. Tony White. Why does Tony White care about what conference they're going to be in 3 or 4 years?
That's stability. That's finances. That's money. No. You know, Nebraska's going to be able to fully fund their revenue share.
John, if
Florida State's going to be able to do that, and that's a part of paying the players too.
If you don't think that Florida State will be in the ACC in 4 years, that's fine. I don't think Tony White was going to be at Nebraska in 4 years, and I would guess that he doesn't think he's going to be at Florida State in 4 years. It's about taking advantage of the immediate 2025 season. I would say that Florida State will have better opportunity for a better season in 2025, and if so, they will have a better defensive roster in 2025, and if so, Tony White would be able to use that as a springboard to a better job. I don't really care where Florida State's going to be in 3 years because I don't think that matters for Tony White in 3 years. It matters for him in 2025.
Maybe not, but I mean to think that Florida State's that much further ahead than Nebraska?
Dude, they just went 13-0. The year before they went 10-3. Like, I don't get why, like, it was a top 10 team for the majority of last year. It was a top 10 team the year before.
But again, they collapsed, and now their head coach, Florida State's going to have to do what next year to keep Mike Norvell employed?
I don't know. Probably what they'll do, 9 or 10 wins. Like,
We think they're going to go immediately from 1 back to 9?
They just went from 13 to 2. Why can't they go right back up to 10?
It's a lot easier to fall than it is to climb.
You know why they have such a drop off. They screwed up at quarterback. Obviously, their coaching staff needed a healthy makeover. They have Gus Malzahn calling plays next year.
By the way,
sign me up.
I'm not trying to make this point to make it sound like Nebraska's this great situation. What I'm saying is I don't think Florida State's as good a situation. It ain't Florida State from 2000.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying why can't it be Florida State from 2023 or 2022? Nebraska, John, they won more games last year than Nebraska has in 3 years combined?
Yeah, and then they collapsed.
That's fine. Nebraska collapses every other second. What are we talking about here? This is crazy to me.
What do you mean, what are we talking about? How many games did they win, Josh?
I don't know. We keep mentioning we don't know how many games it is. Is it 2? I think
it's 2.
I think it's 2. They won 2,
That's
right?
Bad.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
Bad.
How many games did Nebraska win after October 15th?
How many of us had them picked to go to the playoff this year?
Not me. I certainly didn't.
Yeah, but did you think they were going to win 2 games?
No, I didn't think that they would take that big of a step back.
They collapsed. This is one of the worst collapses we have seen in a long time in college football.
Yeah, same with Nebraska going 1-9 in the last 2 Novembers after such great starts, 5-3 and 5-1. Like, I'm just stunned that we disagree this much. Like, that you don't even think that, like, this is a step up is pretty wild.
No, how can anyone say this is a step up? How can anyone say this is a step up?
Recent seasons. Seasons.
Gosh, you can't. Stop looking at the recent seasons. Look at this year. This year, they collapsed. They choked. They died. They crashed. And now their head coach is on the hottest of hot seats. If they don't show immediate and huge improvement, which is hard to do, easier to fall than it is to climb. If they don't show immediate improvement, they're all gone. And, oh, by the way, who knows where they're going to be next year? Who knows what Florida State's situation is going to be like next year? This is it's not a horrible situation, but it sure isn't a noticeable step up.
I'd rather be at Florida State. I'd rather be at Florida State in 2025 than Nebraska.
Here's Nick. Nick agrees with you. Hello, Nick.
Nick?
Jesus, Nick, you tell us what Nick was going to say.
He just said, "Is John for real?"
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Yes, I am for real. Absolutely, I am. Matt Rule is on much more stable ground right now than Mike Norvell.
He might be, but I don't think it's as stable as you think it is. I don't think that this is like the hardest of rock ground that Rule is standing on versus sand for Norvell.
Norvell's a lot closer to the quicksand than he is actual sand. I mean, it's going to be a desperate situation when they go from the places they were at, and then absolutely collapse like they did. That is a jarring situation.
Sure.
And a lot of people are going to react very violently in those situations. So, and again, I'm not trying to make this out to be like Nebraska's a great situation, but it's not good at Florida State right now. I get why White is leaving. If it's about control, if it's about opportunity, yes, absolutely. The recruiting base can be good, but
John, it is good. We don't need to put a qualifier on it. Can be good. It is good. It's a great recruiting situation. They're in the state of Florida.
Yeah, but again, yes, you can recruit very well, but you don't have 4 years to turn this thing around.
Matt Rule doesn't have 4 years to turn this thing around. He fired his offensive coordinator in November, man. Let's not pretend that everything is hunky-dory in Lincoln, Nebraska right now.
I didn't say it was. But
that's what you're implying, though, whenever you mention that with Florida State.
You're going to be given more grace here than you are there.
Maybe.
Definitely.
What are you talking about? What do they have to do in 2025 for him to get to 2026? What are you saying that they have to do? Yeah.
I don't know, but it probably is in the neighborhood of 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah. Okay, sign me up for that. You don't think Florida State can win 8 or 9 games next year when they won 13 last year and 10 the year before with Mike Norvell, who's been a really good and consistent coach his entire career?
Yeah,
you're going to overreact to one season?
10 and 12 to 2. That's really consistent.
One season?
Consistency. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. At Florida State,
show me the consistent seasons Nebraska's had.
State, you should never go 2 and 10.
No, I agree. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying, let's not pretend like Nebraska's ceiling is above 6 right now. They got 6 wins, and it took 1 in the last 6 games for them to even get to 6 this year. They've had 3 and 4 win seasons, regularly in the recent decade.
Let's go back to the phones. Here's John. Hi, John. Thanks for waiting. You're in the zone. Man, no one likes to wait.
Sad.
No one likes to wait.
He said he agreed with you, John.
All right, so we've got one mystery call that agrees with Josh and one that agrees with me.
Jed writes, completely agree. Indiana won 3 games last year and climbed to 11. Florida State job is a step up.
A step up for Nebraska. Again, I don't see it.
They'll be in the playoff next year or playoff adjacent. Nebraska is so far away from the playoff right now.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list. Put that on the list. There's the first one for next year.
You think FSU's going to rebuild that quick?
No. Yeah. They will not.
Okay. They're also in a much smaller pond. That is also a massive, positive for them.
This one's funny. I'm a Rule apologist. No, part of my problem with Tony White leaving might have to do with Matt Rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
This has nothing to do with believing in Matt Rule or thinking that Nebraska is going to ascend to this great level next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's more in my commentary where I think Florida State is currently and how tenuous that situation is versus the one at Nebraska. But this has nothing to do, in my opinion, with the playoff.
Do you worry that you're overreacting, though, to the long term of Florida State in this discussion about Tony White, who would probably not be there beyond 2026 at the latest? No. You might be thinking too big picture about this?
No, because I don't think Mike Norvell will coach beyond next year.
That's crazy. You think they're going to fire him after next season?
I think there's a better chance they will than they won't.
Okay, interesting. Well, we can both have Florida State items on the 2025 list when we put that together.
There you go.